It Happened on the Job, the podcast for relatable conversations with contractors. Sponsored by Goodman Insurance.
Welcome to It Happened on the Job. We are your podcast for relatable and relevant conversations with contractors. Episode 64 today. Our guest is Michael Biondino. Before we go that far, my name's Mike and that's Brian.
Hello.
I forgot us,
You
but
did.
yeah, went right to the most important person first.
Yeah, that's true.
So Michael Biondino, owner of Refined Roofing, VP of Sales at Cat Exteriors. Is that all right? Did I
Yep,
get it
that
all?
is correct.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming out. We appreciate you
thanks for coming,
taking the
Mike.
time and hanging out with us.
And thanks for having me. Super honored to be asked to come out
Perfect.
and sit down for a little bit.
Is this your first podcast?
It is.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's a theme with contractors that we bring on here, which is fun. It's always
It's really too
fun.
bad. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of cool
Yeah.
that we're at least breaking it in.
breaking the ice and breaking them in. Yeah.
It's I've listened to them over the years,
Yeah.
and kind of you're seeing I'm like, well, I kind of want to be on one, or I kind of want to start one. And then for the last, I would say 48 hours, I've gone back and forth on.
Is this
I don't know.
a
Do
good
I really want to
idea?
be on
Is
one?
this really a good idea?
I mean, am I not feeling too well this morning? So, but thanks for having me.
No, man, we appreciate
I definitely appreciate you introducing me first. It definitely feeds the ego.
We'll make this easy on you. We won't terrify you of podcasts for the future. So, as we kind of get started here, give us a little history of how you got started in the construction and contractor space, however long ago that was, and the journey to where you are now with Refined Roofing and Cat Exteriors.
I would say it definitely goes back to my dad was a painting contractor.
Okay.
So back
Locally? Here in-
locally, yeah, Newport Beach. When he got out of the art business, he started painting rental units in Newport. Met up with a few property management companies, was doing basically handyman stuff, and I'd go to the job sites with him during after school hours, do my homework, help him out here and there. And then he became a licensed painting contractor and then a general contractor. And that's how I basically got started. I started off as a laborer with him, grew into basically somewhat of a partner.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to kind of branch out and get into a bigger industry, so to speak. He covered a lot of the rental units in Newport, but he relatively wanted to kind of stay one or two guys.
Comfortable where he was.
And I had a lot of different ambitions. So I moved on to a home improvement company, Cat Exteriors, about 5 years ago. Started off doing some of the installs for exterior coatings. Then I moved into sales. And then I branched off, went and did some commercial roofing for a little bit for one of the commercial roofers right here in Santa Ana. And then I came back and took over the sales and training over at Cat Exteriors. And I started training all the sales reps coming in and putting those out. And then I do production. And then this last year I started, me and a couple of the owners at Cat Exteriors, we started Refined Roofing, which we're looking to get into the commercial industry as far as the roofing goes as well. So it kind of goes back about 25 years now.
Yeah. Wow. So what was that transition like, going from, a laborer, right, working out in the field, to a sales position, right? Like, you don't really see that a lot. We've had a couple guys in that are maybe with like CertaPro painters, or what's the other one that like solar stuff, where it's really sales driven, right? And it's and they find other contractors and maybe they hire some people to do some of the work, but it's really their business is sales driven. It sounds like you were with, so I guess when I say that, those guys that started those companies didn't really have a lot of experience in the field, right? They were just sales and marketing people that figured this was the easiest way, or a good mode for them to kind of make money. But you kind of backed into it a little bit. How did that transition work?
It was just like that, is because I came from basically the production end of like a general contractor to a sales and marketing company that does construction. Right. And I remember when I walked in, and one of my mentors there, Billy, he always said it's kind of a hard transition when you have a guy that's been swinging a hammer,
right,
and kind of knows the cost on the back end, and then to jump into selling it for 2.8 times because you have your markups and everything like that, and you have your overhead and your margins to meet. So that was an interesting transition. But with the products sell themselves, right? So it was a very interesting transition to jump from swinging a hammer to kind of putting on nice slacks and a shirt, right, and asking for a substantial amount of more money for a product than what I was doing before, right?
That you paid the bill for, and you know how much it costs.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, even to this day, sometimes that can creep in. But the reality is that in this day and age, I'm trying to look to building the business where you have those margins.
Right.
Because I've watched the contractors that go out and they sell it for what it costs.
Little to no cost. Little
margin. Little to no cost, and they have maybe a 20% margin in there, and they're out of business in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the difference that I found with the sales and marketing companies on most of them compared to like your,
the
truck in the truck roofer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in one aspect, it helped because I have that production end side where I can go out and measure a job, order the products. I know what that cost. But then on the other end, transitioning into that was a little difficult at first.
So what was that learning curve like? Anybody, you said you had a mentor there. So what was there a training process, or was it just kind of, hey, this product, so go talk about it and sell it to people, or how?
No, it was a forget everything you know, right? Right? Because even if you can measure good, that's not going to help you. We're still going to send somebody out behind you, right? So it was a forget everything you know, jump into a 6-week training, right, and just take it all in.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to do, right? I just pretend like I didn't know anything. Followed guys, shadowed the guys that were doing it, the $1 million plus reps. And I remember when I went out to my first lead on my own, I was nervous as could be. I tripped over.
Scary, huh?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I tripped over the window. I think I dropped this, and probably made no sense. Forgot everything that I had learned in the last 6 weeks,
Just became a bowl of Jell-O.
Pretty much, But thankfully, I sold my first deal. And really, the guy was like, it's really you. I mean, your window's great, but you're genuine, and I bought you in the company. Mm-hmm. And from there, it just kind of torpedoed into everything else. Just like anything, when I found something that I loved, I wanted to be the best at it.
Right. Yeah.
So I just continued to learn.
So when you said you were working for your father and kind of working on that end, you went from out in the field as a laborer and doing all that, and then into CAD Exteriors and into sales. What was the purpose of the transition? Was it something internally where you're like, these are some skills I want to hone, or was it like, hey man, you should come work for me, or what was that change?
Yeah, how did that process go down?
So it was when we were transitioning, we were doing some of the labor for CAT. We were doing the painting.
Okay.
Right, and I was watching some of the sales reps go out there and do what they do, and I really wanted to see what that side of the business had to offer. Right, because I knew what the labor side had. Right. I knew what the production side had. I've done the roofing, I've done the painting. It's 95 degrees out right now. I really don't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? So I thought, well, I know the products, I know the industry, right? I could go sell it.
Sometimes people like to talk to me.
Right? Yeah. I don't know if I like to talk to them as much, but I thought, well, hey, I know all this. I could go do this.
Yeah.
And definitely see my income go up, But I realized that knowing all this really didn't matter when I got into there.
Right.
So that's why I really looked at it. I wanted to see what these guys were doing. Because guys that had no construction industry were going out and making $10,000, $15,000 a month selling products that I probably knew the product way
because you're actually utilizing it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when I looked into that and I said, well, let me check that out. And I just fell in love with the sales process.
Yeah.
The whole process of it all, really.
I have to imagine some of that knowledge of being in the field, working with those products, so it has to help it on some level and give you some sort of advantage over those guys that have no experience doing that.
It does.
Yeah.
It definitely does. As I was able to kind of tie that into it, it does. Because homeowners and clients have questions that your normal guy who doesn't have any experience can't answer.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. Like, right, if I'm working with a contractor trying to get them insurance, and then the underwriter asks me some question about something that they do, I've never been out in the field and seen what this guy does, right? When he's doing steel erection, like I have no idea what this guy, what they're trying to ask me. So it's the same kind of concept, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
And it does, and that's where it's kind of helped in the training aspect of it now, because I can train the sales reps in the application of what the actual window will do. how to install it, or the roofing application. I can show them how that works.
Yeah, not just how much it costs and what we have
Right.
to bid. Yeah.
And that way they know how to properly measure it.
Yep.
Where before we kind of do the thumb and hold our eye up and hope that we come out, on top. Right. So it has, in the end, definitely all that history has helped me to.
So you're passing along a lot of that on to to the sales guys that you're training now, passing a lot of that knowledge from being out in the field.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What does that training process look like for your guys? Is it have you built out a full system that's in writing that anybody else could follow, or is it just you one-on-one with these guys?
No, so we took a process that's, kind of really been in the works for 30, 40 years. Sears used it, a 10-step sales process. And then over the years, we've kind of, added to it, taken away a little bit, and kind of morphed it into 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
Because the way people buy and sell from the 1980s has definitely changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we took that, we added to it. And now with like new guys that come in, it's a 6-week training process, and it's in classroom 4 to 5 days a week for about 4 to 6 hours. And then out in the field 2 to 3 days a week, riding with a sales rep in the field. And it is an intense where, miles have to be met. If you're not hitting your marks, then you don't proceed to the next,
Yeah.
And it's a process, because we all have our own style, but I can't train style.
Right.
I can train process.
Right.
And so as long as the processes are in place, then we can take anybody who has no experience in it, teach him the process, and he can go out and be a $1.5 million rep a year. Right. And that's what we have. This last year, we had 2 brand new reps, broke the $1 million rep. This year, I'll have 5 reps that came through the training.
Dang, man.
No experience in the industry. One's going to do 1.9 million this year. The other 4 reps will do anywhere from 1.1 to 1.4.
Wow. That's awesome.
Jeez.
Is that 100% your focus, just the sales, or are you involved in any other parts of the company at all, or given your background?
Yeah,
in the
no,
field?
I mean, it was initially intended for just the sales.
Yeah.
But because I can do the measuring too,
Right.
When COVID-19 hit and we had no idea what was going to happen, and we had to furlough probably about 80% of the business right at first when governor shut everything down.
Yeah.
I jumped into the project management. Right, because I can go out there and measure the jobs.
Right.
I can do the paperwork on that end as well. So, I'd like to focus most of my attention on the sales, but here and there I am asked to jump into the production end of it, help out on that end as well.
Yeah, because you know it.
Yeah. Thankfully, I am fortunate enough to know most of the industry on that aspect. I was able to jump into that.
And you guys are doing, I know we chatted a little bit before we kind of came on, but you guys are doing full residential remodel home improvement stuff. Is that well?
Yeah. We do full retrofit residential, from the roof to insulation in the walls in the attic, dual pane windows, heating and air, exterior coatings that offer a lifetime solution, and patio cover as well.
So pretty much all, like you said, home improvement stuff. Nothing structural or anything, right? Yeah, just
nothing structural. We're not knocking down any walls or building any additions. No.
Who was that we just had in here? We just had somebody else that did a lot of that stuff, and they were just trying to kind of narrow it down into a couple different products.
Oh.
It'll come to me.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about Vazgen, right? Vazgen?
It might have been.
Yeah. Vaz.
Yeah. Vaz.
Yeah. It was Voss.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, we're going off on a tangent. Sorry. No, so that's So, what kind of geographical area are you guys working in? Is it just Southern California, or?
No, we cover all of California. We have an office up in Sacramento. So we cover Sacramento, Yuba, the Bay Area, down to Modesto, Fresno. And then our office in Anaheim, we cover all the way down to San Diego, San Bernardino. Ventura here and there, we might touch. And then we're actually opening up in Austin in September for Cat
Texas?
Exteriors. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
That's fun.
Yeah, South Austin. We're going to be
It's
opening
like
up in Kyle.
the California of Texas is what I like to call it. It's there's a lot of similarities there between Austin and California.
That's what we hear.
A lot of Californians because
Well,
of that.
I think a lot of Californians are moving out there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to convince the wife right now. Come on, you see that backyard?
Have you been out there though?
California. I haven't been out there yet. I'll be.
Their
probably
traffic
going
is
out.
so bad they got double-decker freeways.
Well, it's
Intense.
We heard about that when when Ryan and the owners went out there. We found out that because of the bridges, I guess from South Austin to North Austin could take 2 hours.
Oh, at least.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're opening up in South Austin, Kyle, and we're hoping to kind of stay in that vicinity because we hear that if you're trying to go through the bridge, you might as well call for like an install in 2 days or something, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, it's pretty intense. But you do get a lot more for your buck out there from a home standpoint. Yeah,
that's what we hear. You know, we're sending one of our project managers out there to kind of get it going, and he went out there last week, and he's like, Mike, look at this house. You know, he's like, I'm living in an apartment for that cost. You know, that's why I started looking. I'm like, hey, babe, see the size of this backyard? Wouldn't this be great for the kids and the puppy to grow up in? You know, so. You never know. I mean, I'm born and raised in California. Grew up right in Costa Mesa. Yeah. Been in Southern California my whole life. But, you know, with everything going on, I wouldn't mind moving out to Texas at some point in time. You just never know.
Definitely intriguing. Yeah.
It is, you know.
So what caused the split? I don't want to say split. Split sounds bad, but the move into refined roofing.
More of the branching off.
Yeah.
We want to get into the commercial end with that, where with CAT, we're strictly residential. Right. And I did a lot of commercial roofing a few years back. I used to work for Evans Roofing. We did like South Coast Plaza, Great Wolf Lodge. Yep. And I like that industry as well. Right? So with refined roofing, we want to start that and get into the TIs and the re-roofs of commercial buildings.
So are you trying to operate that the same way as a sales and marketing company that does commercial, or are you guys acting more like a traditional contractor in that company?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, we want to take a little bit of both, you know, because the margins in commercial roofing are not as high as the margins are in home improvement.
Yeah.
Right? They're just not.
Well, and you're dealing with a different buyer too, right? I mean, the commercial buyer is not going to be somebody who's interested in seeing your pamphlet and seeing a sales presentation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're going to say, okay, measured up, give me your price, and they're going to go somewhere usually in between.
Right.
Where in the home improvement industry, it's all based on the value.
Right.
Right? We're not going to offer a better shingle in commercial than the guy down the street for $1,000 less. You know, and so that's the difference. So the margins are going to be different. The approach has got to be different. But we also want to hold up to that level of, you know, professionalism, the sales and marketing end too, so we meet our margins.
So what are your responsibilities with the refined roofing?
Right now, just getting it off the floor, basically. Right now, we're kind of in the organic, just trying to get it going.
Yeah.
You know, get a few roofs under our belts, build some relationships. You know, some of them relationships from my dad years ago are coming to play now because we still know those property management companies. And really just get into the maintenance side of that and build those relationships right now.
Are you guys doing a lot of any of the work yourself, or have you guys hired employees?
Yeah, we got guys. Some of it I did in the beginning myself.
Yeah.
And then again,
well, you have to, right?
I mean,
business, right?
That's the whole thing. The first 3 or 4 jobs I was doing myself, you know, just to kind of build it up, get the name out there. You know, right now my major goal
put your slacks and button down on to tell the job, and then
it's building the job, going out and
throw
doing
your
the
jeans
job.
and t-shirt on and get on the roof and finish it.
Yep. You know, my wife's like, why are you coming home in that again? I just bought you those pants. You know, and they got tar on them again. And, you know, so that initially was me just out there doing the repairs and really just trying to build the brand first.
Right.
Build the reputation. Right now we got the 5-star rating on Google.
Yeah.
Right. And so over the last couple of months, I've able to put a crew together that's handling some of the re-roofs for us right now. Yeah. You know, and over time we'll just start building that. And, you know, the ultimate goal with Refined is the commercial sector. And of course taking some of the sales and marketing and that experience into that.
So you said commercial TI stuff, is it from a roofing standpoint, is it all re-roofs and repairs and service and that kind of stuff, or any kind of new construction you guys are looking to get into?
Not really so much the new construction, more the TIs and the maintenance and the repairs, because those eventually, with building the relationships, will lead to the re-roofs. You know, the thing that I found is the big commercial buildings, they're not re-roofing their building every 2 years.
No, they're getting as much out of it as they can.
They're going to repair it for 10, 15 years.
Yep.
And then when eventually that time comes, hopefully I've built that relationship with them well enough that I'm the guy that they call when that time comes.
Yeah.
And that's the goal with that, you know?
So from a labor standpoint, I know that a lot of guys are struggling finding, you know, quality labor right now. Or is that something you guys are experiencing? How are you guys finding people to bring on?
I mean, it goes back and forth. Labor-wise, right now I found a good group of guys through a mutual contractor. He kind of wanted to go out on his own. I was able to bring him in under us, and we built a good relationship. Yeah. We've also found that with the whole COVID-19 right now too, is that just in one aspect, finding people in general has been a little bit harder, right? Yeah. But then when you do find them, we're finding some good people that we're not wanting to lose, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where we thought, okay, a lot of people are out of jobs. You'd think it'd be easier, but it hasn't been. Really finding the people. People are like, nah, well, if you're not offering this, I don't want to come out.
Well, because they're getting an extra $600 a week in unemployment.
We're getting until recently.
Yeah. But now it's dropping from 600 to 400, right? So I mean, there's still a substantial amount of money out there being made sitting at home without a job.
Yeah.
So it's a lot you gotta compete with there.
It is. It's like, do I want to come really labor carrying shingles up a roof in 105-degree weather, or do I
want to make $600 a week sitting at home?
Watch TV.
Yeah. Getting good at the Price is Right.
Although when you find the guy that says yes, that's probably a good indicator that this is a good person. At least the first step in terms of determining.
So you're involved in training with CAT Exteriors. Are you involved in training at all with Refined Roofing? And training your guys out there?
Yes. Right now, we're not really in that aspect where I really need to be doing a lot of the training, because the labor guys I have are experienced.
Got pretty good experience,
Yeah. So
I guess you kind of want to build it that way, right? You get the good, strong guys at the beginning that build that base of,
I want to have the good guys there that I know when I get the job can build it. And then when I get to a point where I don't want to be out meeting with everybody, that's when I'll hire a sales rep. And then we'll train him to go out there and start doing those, so then I can just continue to work on drumming up new business.
So how's your day split up right now, or your week between the two different companies?
Well, right now it's Monday through Sunday. Realistically,
depending
because
on what the need is, huh?
I'm usually working on Refined before I start my day at CAT and after I end my day at CAT. But realistically, my days don't end at CAT because I do all the scheduling too for CAT. So when the sales come through, I'm the one that they're calling, I'm scheduling it. It's just as I sit down to eat dinner with the family, the phone rings, So it's right now a 7-day a week, basically. I got guys that call on Sunday that are out there running appointments. So I try and do the Refine kind of before and after, because it is a kind of a branch of it. And that's going to something that we'll morph into. But right now, building CAT, continuing to help on that aspect is really the main focus.
Those are some busy days. I'm sure your wife loves that phone ringing right when the dinner starts.
It's and she's at home right now doing the distance learning with the kids too.
She might see that as a vacation for him, though, right?
So it's I get home and I'm like, babe, you need a little break.
What can I do?
And I got 2 boys, a 3rd grader, a kindergartner, and a 6-month-old too. So
oh wow,
damn,
got them all. Huh?
Yeah, we have a full house.
That's awesome.
It is,
So what's the future look like? I mean, do you see yourself kind of picking one after some time, or how does it? I don't mean to put you on the spot. Maybe you don't. But I guess it's kind of shared ownership, right?
Shared ownership.
Yeah.
So of course the ultimate goal is to, eventually find somebody that I can train to take over my position at CAT. Eventually down the road, and really focus mainly on Refined. Because it is shared ownership, so that is the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is to build the biggest commercial roofing company in the West Coast.
Is your dad still out there? Contract still working?
Yep.
Still painting?
Still working. Still working, still painting,
You haven't brought him on to be a roofer yet?
I would love to, hopefully one day where maybe he can run around and collect some documents and sign off on some jobs, and that way he doesn't have to swing a hammer.
Yeah, I was going to say break his back out there.
Of course, that'd be the ultimate goal. He brought me into the industry, and,
let him ride out on the sunset without having to break his back.
Definitely. He's definitely getting up there in age, and he's still having to work, so anything that would help would definitely be the ultimate goal.
That's pretty cool, though. Kind of keep that family legacy in there. Yeah. Very fun. Part of kind of why we started this whole thing was fun stories that happen out there, and I have to imagine being on roofs. Knock on wood, they're all safe stories. But anything crazy, fun, weird from your experience out in the field?
You know, it's funny. I was kind of thinking about this yesterday, and I'm like, there's all kinds of stuff that's happened over the years, you know? And I'm like, what are some two just out there, maybe funny or just crazy stories? I remember one working for my dad. We were doing a rental unit, full remodel inside, and I had to put some shims on a casing. Nailed it together. I also nailed my finger with them.
Oh.
Them shims in the casing, right? Yeah, right?
With a gun or a hammer?
With a gun, right?
So at least it was quick and just
was
over
quick.
with. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was so quick that I didn't even
took a
realize.
second.
You know, I didn't even realize until I was walking around with, you know, a 6-foot piece of casing hanging off my finger. You know, needless to say, that never happened again, right? But I would probably say one of the turning points where I realized that I want to own my own company is we were doing a 33,000 square foot commercial property. We were spraying cold asphalt. And I was the run behind with the broom laying down the felt. And I remember slipping in the cold asphalt and just getting covered from head to toe in cold asphalt.
It's like one of those tar and feather videos. Somebody run by with a bucket of featherwords afterwards, and just
I'm surprised I didn't get it, you know, but I felt like it.
Yeah.
Just covered. And I remember when you're doing them jobs, you're not coming with a brand new change of clothes every day.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
putting the same clothes on every day, and we were getting on the roof at 4:45 the next morning, and it was all crusted and hard. And I just thought, no.
This is not my life.
This is not, what am I doing? And I thought, that's when I'm like, no, I'm going to own it. I'm going to own the company. I'm not, you know what I mean? Because it was just slipping in the asphalt. And yeah, it was. So I would say that was definitely one of the.
That's probably a very, like you said, a turning point.
A blessing in disguise,
Yeah.
almost,
Yeah,
right?
you know, but it's like the movies when you see what was it, Home Alone, when he walks into it and just full of feathers.
Yeah,
You could have covered me in feathers. I was just covered in cold asphalt. You know, yeah, it was one of my finer moments.
So obviously, outside of your dad, is your wife involved in the business at all, or is she just doing the
she's
homeschooling thing or
right
distance
now,
learning thing?
They're letting her work from home. She works for a home builder. She's a purchasing
Oh, that's right. You said
manager.
that Toll Brothers.
Yeah, so she's a purchasing manager for a home builder. So
Cool.
she's in the industry as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting because we always compare stories, and you know, usually I get a lot of my updates on ever increasing lumber prices.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got the inside scoop.
Get it on the fast track too. I'm sure they're getting it a lot sooner than you guys are.
Yeah,
We're
possibly.
seeing
you know?
it. Yeah, seeing it out there for sure.
But yeah, she's worked for them for 6-7 years now.
Awesome.
And I mean, they've just been gracious to this whole thing. They're letting her work from home. You know, so she's.
Do you
able to
guys
work
still
from
have
home.
people working from home in either one of your companies, or are you guys everybody back in the office?
With
or?
us, we most of our people we've brought back. We furloughed, like I said, majority of the of our staff initially.
Right.
But within about 2 to 3 weeks, we were able to bring the majority of them back.
Cool. That's good.
Yeah, you know, because you know, with heating and air and roofing, it was considered essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and we were going out. We were still taking all the precautions, calling our homeowners before we get to the house. Hey guys, are you comfortable with us coming out? If not, we'll reschedule. And if
Is that still kind of the case now, or are you guys?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, because as things started to open up again about 2 weeks ago, it all came back crashing again, right?
Yeah.
So all of our guys are going out there with gloves, with masks, hand sanitizers. Some of them are sitting outside. It just depends on the customer.
Yeah, whatever they're comfortable with. Yeah.
And some of the customers, hey, you know what? I'm really not comfortable with you guys coming out right now. No problem. We'll call you back in maybe 6 months or a year and take it from there.
Have you seen business kind of level off a little bit from that, or are you guys still doing okay from an
Actually,
sales
business
standpoint?
is booming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
That's what I'm hearing.
It is surprisingly.
Well, it's almost like one of those things where like people, like I think you've said it before, people sitting at home and kind of staring at the house and going, "Oh, that'd be nice to fix." Or
Yep, right.
Yeah.
That's what we found. I mean, initially in the panic of it all,
Everybody
business
freezes. Yeah.
business kind of dropped.
they don't know what to do with their money, right?
Exactly,
Do we
right?
need to save it? Do we?
Yeah, and we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Right.
But like you said, it is the longer that everybody's sitting at home, they're like, honey, remember that door you said you're going to take care of 5 years ago? You know?
It's time.
It's time, right? So I mean, for us, fortunate. We've been able to bring everybody back. Business has been booming, you know, and yeah, some homeowners are like, hey, you know what? I've been meaning to do this, or you know what? I didn't realize how bad it was until I started sitting at home for the last couple of months and looking at it, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is great.
Very cool. Well, before we let you go, we want to give you an opportunity to kind of let the people know where to find you. Any websites, phone numbers, social medias, how to get in touch with you guys at either business.
Yeah, perfect. We're all over social media. Cat Exteriors, you know, Cat, like your local Cat. CAT stands for California, Arizona, and Texas.
Okay.
Exteriors, you can reach out on social media, Facebook, catexteriors.pro website. And then you can also find us on Google, Yelp, carry a 5-star rating right now. And then Refined Roofing as well. We're on Google as well.
Awesome. Very cool, man. Well, we appreciate the time, and we'll make sure to keep in touch. And you guys need anything, make sure to let us know.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one. Hey, thanks for listening. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and give us a like or 5 stars or whatever means you like us.
Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And check out our website for more video content and extras.
While you're there, shoot us a message if you want to be a guest. We'd love to have you on.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.